Have you ever felt like your mind is split into 1,000 pieces? You sit down to focus, and within seconds, you're checking your phone. You try to work, and suddenly you remember something else you should be doing. You finish the day with nothing complete, no clarity, and a growing sense that something inside you is breaking. Most men live this way, distracted, scattered, fragmented. And it's not because they're weak, it's because they were never taught how to focus. We live in a world of endless tabs, constant alerts, infinite options. You are under attack not by enemies with swords, but by apps, dopamine loops, and a mind that's forgotten how to sit still. But here's the truth. Focus isn't about motivation. It's not about to-do lists. It's not even about discipline in the way you think. It's about alignment. And in ancient Japan, there was a system built for this. A system designed to forge unbreakable attention. It's called Ichigyo-Zammai, a philosophy of single-minded concentration so intense it can dissolve time, silence noise, and turn chaos into clarity. This isn't productivity. This is presence. And if you understand it, you will never waste your life again. Before we begin, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below what you're most distracted by right now. Be honest. We're not here to pretend. We're here to train. There is a word in Japanese that has no direct translation in English. Ichigyo-Zammai. It means total immersion in a single act, not multitasking, not working hard, not forcing effort. It means becoming one with the task until the line between you and the action disappears. This was not theory. It was training. Zen monks practiced it during walking meditation, calligraphy, sweeping temple floors. Samurai used it to enter flow before battle. Artisans used it while carving, forging, crafting not just with their hands, but with their spirit. The literal translation breaks down like this. Ichigyo, one practice. Zammai, deep meditative absorption. Together, it's the act of doing one thing with your whole being. No mental division, no background noise, no what-ifs. It is the opposite of how most men live today. In modern life, your brain is constantly being hijacked. Every ping, every scroll, every urgent task pulls a piece of your mind away. Eventually, there's nothing left to give. Your attention span shatters, your confidence erodes, you stop trusting yourself to finish anything. But Ichigyo-Zammai reverses that. It's not just about performance, it's about identity. When you train your brain to focus deeply, you begin to become someone else. Someone who can stay with discomfort. Someone who finishes what he starts. Someone whose energy is felt when he walks into a room because his attention is not dispersed, it is lethal. Modern science calls this attentional control. Neuroscientists have shown that deep focus increases gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, the very area responsible for decision-making, emotional regulation, and long-term planning. But Japan knew this centuries ago. They didn't need fMRI scans. They had temples, dojos, and rituals, and through them, they forged a system that could turn ordinary men into mental weapons. The story you're about to hear is not about success. It's about integration, the moment when a man decides to stop living like a fractured mirror and becomes whole again. His name was Kazuo, a software developer. 35. Quiet, polite, a good man, but every night he went to bed feeling like a failure, not because he didn't work hard, because his mind was never fully there. He would start a project, then check his email, open a book, then scroll Instagram, sit with his wife, then mentally drift into unfinished work. Everything blurred together. Kazuo wasn't lazy. He was exhausted from the 1,000 cuts of distraction. His desk was filled with half-started notebooks. His phone filled with productivity apps he barely used. His soul filled with shame. And the worst part? He knew he was capable of more. Deep down, he could feel it, that there was a version of himself, clear, sharp, dangerous, buried beneath the noise. But he had no idea how to reach him. Each year, his attention got weaker. He couldn't even read for 10 minutes without checking his phone, couldn't sit through a meeting without zoning out, couldn't finish anything unless there was a deadline and a threat. The fragmentation infected everything. His relationships, his posture, his speech. Even the way he walked, rushed, uncertain, always distracted. One night, it broke. He was working late on a presentation when his 5-year-old daughter came into the room. "Papa, can you help me with this puzzle?" He looked at her, then looked at the screen, then back to her. "In a minute, sweetheart. I just need to finish this." She stood there silently, waiting, then walked away quietly the way children do when they're used to being ignored. Kazuo watched her go, and in that moment, it hit him like a blade through the chest. It wasn't just his work that was fragmented. There was no longer a clear line between who he was and what he did. His presence had been split, not just from his family, from himself. The next morning, he looked in the mirror and didn't recognize what he saw. A man always trying, always thinking, always starting, and never being. That was the day he decided to change. But he didn't find his answer in a book, or a coach, or a podcast. He found it in an old temple where a monk would show him what it truly meant to focus. The temple sat on the edge of the forest. Not famous, not modern. No brochures, no guided tours, just stone, wind, and silence. Kazuo had discovered it by accident, or so he thought. He was on a weekend hike to clear his mind after yet another failed attempt at focus. But what he really wanted was to escape the noise in his head. He stepped off the trail and followed a narrow path. The trees grew denser, the sounds of the city vanished, and then he saw it nestled between moss-covered rocks and bamboo, the old wooden gate of a Zen temple. He stepped inside, and that's when he met Kenshin, an elderly monk, white robes, shaved head, eyes like still water. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. He simply looked at Kazuo and said, "You brought chaos with you." Kazuo blinked. I didn't mean to intrude." Kenshin nodded. "You didn't, but now that you are here, sit." And so Kazuo sat. On a worn cushion, in a wooden hall, across from a man who seemed to breathe time itself. "What do you do?" the monk asked. "I build systems." "Software?" "No," Kenshin said. "I asked what you do." Kazuo paused. He didn't know how to answer. "I work. I try to improve. I think a lot." "That," Kenshin said slowly, "is the problem. You think of everything as a system to fix, but you have never practiced presence." And then the monk said something Kazuo would never forget. "The mind cannot focus when it is trained to escape. Yours has become a master of escape." That was the moment it began. Kenshin explained the philosophy. Ichigyo-Zammai. One act, total immersion, no division. He spoke of monks who swept the same path every day for 20 years, not as punishment, but as liberation. Of craftsmen who hammered the same metal stroke for decades, not to create perfection, but to lose themselves in the rhythm. "This is not about doing more," he said. "It's about becoming less until only the action remains." Kenshin gave Kazuo one instruction. "Tomorrow at sunrise, you will do one thing. Only one. With your full mind, full breath, and full presence. What thing? That is for you to choose. But once chosen, it becomes sacred." Kazuo returned the next day. He chose to sweep the courtyard. One broom, one rhythm, one motion. It sounded easy, but by the 5th minute, his mind was screaming, "Check your phone. Think about work. What if this is a waste of time?" But the monk watched in silence, and Kazuo kept sweeping. And then something strange happened. In the 10th minute, the thoughts began to fade. By the 15th, his breath had slowed, and by the 20th, he forgot he was sweeping. There was only the sound of the bristles, the feel of the wood in his hands, and a strange sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. The monk nodded from the steps. "Now," he said, "you've touched the edge of the path." Kazuo returned every morning. No alarm, no snooze button, just the decision made once to arrive. He no longer came to escape his distractions. He came to confront them. Each day, Kenshin gave him one task: sweep the courtyard, chop vegetables, polish the bell, walk the garden path. Always simple, always the same instruction. Ichigyo-Zammai, do it with your whole being. In the beginning, Kazuo struggled. His mind would wander. He would start thinking about the office, his emails, his meetings. He'd catch himself rushing the task, trying to finish rather than experience. And every time, the monk would simply say, "You left the practice. There was no punishment, no scolding, just truth. You have lived your whole life with split attention." Kenshin told him. "You are not failing, you are just unlearning." That sentence struck him. Unlearning, not acquiring more information, not mastering more tools, just stripping away the noise that had buried his mind. And as he returned to each task, something began to shift. He started breathing slower. His eyes began noticing details: the curve of the broom handle, the color of the moss on the stones, the scent of the morning air. His thoughts still came, but they no longer pulled him away. He watched them like clouds, then returned to the movement, and then the breakthrough. One morning, Kenshin handed him a sheet of paper and a brush. "Write this character," he said, "the kanji for heart." Kazuo dipped the brush, exhaled, and made his first stroke. It was rushed, uneven. He frowned. Kenshin stepped closer. "You are trying to control the result. But focus is not about controlling. It is about being present for each stroke." They practiced for an hour. No talking, no correction. Just breath, motion, brush, paper. And suddenly, Kazuo felt it. A click, a silence, a flow he couldn't explain. When the final character was complete, Kenshin nodded. That was not writing. That was integration. Kazuo finally understood. Focus was not something to apply to his tasks. It was something to become. From that day forward, he brought the practice home. He applied it to his work. No multitasking, no browser tabs, no phone. He applied it to cooking, cutting vegetables with full attention. He applied it to listening, putting down his phone and looking his daughter in the eye when she spoke. It wasn't perfection. Some days were harder than others, but the difference was this: he no longer left himself. The man who once lived in fragments was becoming whole. Not because he did more, but because every action he took now had presence. The mind that once fled now stayed. There is a difference between a man who works hard and a man who is fully present. One moves through life chasing success, status, validation. The other moves through life anchored, steady, focused, unshakable. Kazuo had spent years trying to fix his productivity, trying to optimize his time, trying to force himself to be more disciplined, and it never worked because his mind was never home. But Ichigyo-Zammai gave him something else. Not a trick, not a tip, a way of being. He no longer chased tasks. He inhabited them. He no longer ran from discomfort. He entered it breath by breath. He didn't become a productivity machine. He became a man whose energy spoke louder than words. People noticed. His boss asked, "What changed?" His wife said, "You feel more here." And his daughter, one night as he helped with her puzzle, smiled and whispered, "Papa, you don't look at your phone anymore." That one sentence was worth more than any achievement. Kazuo didn't become superhuman. He simply reclaimed what most men lose: the ability to live inside one thing at a time. That is the power of Ichigyo-Zammai. And now, it's your turn. Because if you're still watching, it means you feel it: the same fragmentation, the same longing, the same quiet knowing that your mind is not where it should be. So here is your challenge. Pick one practice, any practice: writing, training, cleaning, studying. Choose something small. Do it every day. Not to finish it, not to perfect it, but to become it. No background music, no switching, no scrolling, just you and the thing. It will be uncomfortable. Your mind will beg to escape. That is the test. Stay with it, breath by breath, step by step. And one day, you will feel the shift. You will stop focusing and start being. This is the samurai mind, not scattered, not frantic, but sharp, still, whole. Comment below. What is the one practice you will turn into your Ichigyo-Zammai? And remember, you don't need more apps. You don't need more strategies. You just need to return to the act and let everything else fall away. Like, subscribe. Share this with a man who's losing himself to distraction. Then go, pick your practice, and begin.